Hi class, let's talk about Bronfenbrenner's theory of the bioecological systems.
The idea of the whole child pays respect to the fact that there are many aspects of human potential that grades can't measure. Besides curiosity and intelligence, children may want to develop creativity, passion, resilience, intuition, confidence, generosity, mindfulness, humor, and many other important traits. Edith Ackerman's theory of the whole child development identifies 4 natural urges that drive our growth throughout childhood into adult life: being me, us, the world, and human creations. Each of these 4 urges can be divided into 2 subcategories. To understand them better, let's look at the theory from the perspective of a young girl. Being me is about learning to use my body and exploring my mind. The ability to control my body allows me to discover the world, and as a result, I can get to know where I'm at and who I am. By using my body, I put my 5 senses to work. This is how I learn to walk, speak, listen, and develop healthy habits. Soon, I might impress older folks with my clear speech, good posture, and other physical capabilities. Knowing myself helps me to develop a voice in my home and find my place in this world. It allows me to learn what I like, what I don't like, and what potential is still inside of me. By knowing who I am, I can understand my own subjectivity and form an identity I am proud of. Us is about how I relate to friends, family, and strangers, and my understanding of their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Let me begin with relating to others. As a child, I seek the love, attention, and respect from my parents. But I also have a fundamental natural urge to have social interactions with others. That means I need to learn to share and care so I can belong. One day, I want to become a respected member of a group while keeping my own identity. Understanding others is another thing. I want to learn about my friends and their emotions. Intentions, ways of thinking, and behaviors interest me. I want to learn to move away from my own limited point of view and integrate other people's perspective to develop a more complex understanding of morality and social problems. Making sense of the world means figuring out how things work. That's why we play. Through exploration, I quench my thirst for seeking logic and discover this universe. Adults call it exploring and investigating. We call it play. That's how we learn. Sometimes it gets messy, but by playing, I realize that some things change while others don't. In other words, I learn how things work. Later, I can become a real scientist who plays with big ideas and theories and explains the workings of this world to you. I am seeking logic all the time. Us children don't just want to discover how things work, we also look for consistency where there is little. To make sense of this world, we filter, interpret, and reconstruct what we experience into mental models. I think adults call them schema. This urge for order helps me to reorganize what I learn, infer rules, and apply fundamental laws in real life. Human creations is about me being able to imagine alternatives in my head. If I can image something new, I am able to go and actually create it. Imaginating is one of humans' greatest achievements. Without imagination, all innovation would happen by chance. That's why I need fantasy and a lot of free time to play pretend. This way, I will learn to think out of the box. Through creations, I can express my thoughts and bring my imagination to life, and there are hundreds of ways to do so. I can create atmosphere with my voice, ideas with my head, and pictures that I paint with my hand. If I am given the space, I can create cozy rooms beneath the kitchen table, or one day, when I'm older, design an entire house. Whole child development, also known as holistic education, seeks to engage children in the whole of their being and potential. It assumes that each child arrives at this world with their own set of talents and interests that are to some degree completely independent from the child's upbringing. Some refer to this whole as the mind, body, and soul. The Swiss educator Pestalozzi referred to it as the hand, the heart, and the head. And further still, many others try to sum up a child in 4, 8 skills, social, emotional, and so forth. But does any such division actually pay respect to the whole? Does it capture a sense of humor, an appreciation of the arts, or the ability to be mindful? For this reason, the work of Ackerman offers a more wholesome perspective. What are your thoughts?
Hi, good day everyone. So for today's video, we are going to tackle about the Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory. So let's find out.
What a child experiences during the first years of their life has a lasting impact on the development of their brain. While genes set the roadmap, experiences create the neural connection inside the brain.
In today's generation, children's behavior changes. It isn't as what children act before, and we can hear that almost every time in our elders. This change that happened also brought another theories from different known personality in this field. And one of these many existing theories is Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory, which we will be talking about in this video, such as the background and history of the theory, its 5 ecological systems, the bioecological model, the critical evaluation, the state of Bronfenbrenner's theory in the 21st century, its classroom application, and lastly is the empirical evidence. But what really does this theory means? So Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory views child development as a complex system of relationships affected by multiple levels of surrounding environment, from immediate setting of family and school to broad cultural values and customs. This theory means that in order to study the child's development, we must look not only at the child and her immediate environment, but also at the interaction of the larger environment as well. In other words, we must look not just the minimal environment such as one's home or school, but also in the whole country where the child's development happened. And this systems theory have been organized in order of how much of an impact they have on a child.
Good day everyone, my name is Darrell Lapi, and today we will talk about background and history of Bronfenbrenner ecological system theory. So as you can see in the picture, that is Bronfenbrenner, and in order to know him more and as well as his theory, let's go dive deep in. So, Yuri Bronfenbrenner was a Russian psychologist who is known for his ecological system theory and a critical of previous theories of child and development. He argued that studies of children in unfamiliar laboratory environments with one other person, usually a stranger or a mother and a child, were ecologically invalid. So, Bronfenbrenner claimed most earlier studies were unidirectional, meaning that the laboratory studies observed the influence of A and B. For example, if there is a stranger mother with a child, rather than looking at the possible influence of the child on the stranger, mother, or any other third-party influence, which means that Bronfenbrenner maintained that these laboratory features of research are not characteristic of environments that the children actually live and develop in. So it means that we should not put the child or expose the child into one environment, like in a room or in a laboratory. Instead, we should expose a child into a wider environment where he or she can adopt some development and changes. So that is the point of Bronfenbrenner. Next is Bronfenbrenner recognized that there are multiple aspects of a child's life that interacts with and affects the child. His work looked beyond individual development, taking into account wider influencing factor and the context of the ecology of development. So, Bronfenbrenner views that the child needs to be in a wider environment so that she can interact, or the child can interact more and can be developed more. So, that's why he proposed the ecological system theory. And based on this dynamic, interactions on environments were important in developing a child. Why? Why is it that interactions and environment is important in developing a child? Because in order for the child to grow more or to develop more, we should expose the child into a wider environment so that he or she can adapt some changes in his life. So, Bronfenbrenner's perspective has some resemblance to works of Albert Bandua's social learning theory and Lev Vygotsky's social cultural theory, in which environment is explicitly or implicitly considered as crucial mechanism in development. That's what I have said, that environment is an important mechanism in developing a child. It is not we should not put a child, or we should not expose a child into a one laboratory or one environment, but instead we should give the child the freedom to go to we should expose the child into a wider environment in order for him to adopt some changes, some development. And through with that, this is the Bronfenbrenner's ecological system theory model. So as you can see, there is a child, and first development is microsystem. So microsystem, or the immediate environment. Next is mesosystems, or mesosystem, or the connections. Next is exosystem, or the indirect environment. And the macrosystem, or the social and cultural values. And next is the chronosystem, or the changes over time. So as you can see in his model, that the child does not want Urie Bronfenbrenner does not want a child to expose in one environment. So there is a structure, or step by step, like the microsystem, there is a mesosystem, there is exosystem and microsystem, and the chronosystem. So in order for us to dive deeper into our topic and to discuss it one by one, I will give my camera to Miss Jamaica Reyes Isaldo to explain it further. So Miss Jamaica, it's your time to shine.
So for now, let's proceed to the 5 ecological systems. This consists of, first, the microsystem. The microsystem is the first level of this theory and are the things that have direct contact with the child and their immediate environment, such as parents, siblings, teachers, and school peers. The reactions of the child to individuals in their microsystem can influence how they treat them in return. It only means that if a child has a strong, nurturing relationship with their parents, this is said to have a positive effect on the child, whereas distant and unaffectionate parents have negative effect on the child. Second is the mesosystem. The mesosystem encompasses the way of how the child's microsystem interact with each other, such as the interaction between the child's parent and teacher or between school peers and siblings. So the child's development is dependent on how her microsystems get along with each other. This system conveyed that if the child's parent and teacher get along and have a good relationship, This should have positive effects on child development compared to negative effects on development if the teachers and parents doesn't get along.
So the third one is the ecosystem. The ecosystem is a component of the ecological system theory developed by Yuri Bronfenbrenner in the 1970s. It incorporates other formal and informal social structures which do not themselves contain the child, but indirectly influence them as they affect one of the microsystems. Example of ecosystem includes the neighborhood, parents' workplace, parents' friends, and the mass media. And these are environments in which the child is not involved and are external to their experience but nonetheless affect them anyway. An instance of ecosystem affecting the child's development could be if one of the parents had a dispute with their boss at work. The parent may come home and have a short temper with the child as a result of something which happened in the workplace, resulting in a negative effect on the development of the child. So the fourth one is the macro system. The macro system is a component of Bronfenbrenner's ecological system theory that focuses on how cultural elements affect a child's development, such as social economic status, wealth, poverty, and ethnicity. Thus, culture that individuals are immersed within may influence their beliefs and perceptions about events that transpire in life. So the macro systems differ from the previous ecosystem as it does not refer to the specific environments of one developing child, but the already established society and culture which the child is developing in. So this can also include the socioeconomic status, ethnicity, geographic location, and the ideologies of the culture. For example, a child living in a third world country would experience a different development than a child living in a wealthier country. So the fifth and final level of Bronfenbrenner's ecological system theory is known as the chronosystem. So this system consists of all of the environmental changes that occur over the lifetime which influence development, so including major life transition and historical events. So this can include normal life transitions such as starting school, but can also include non-normative life transitions such as parents getting a divorce or having to move a new house. Bronfenbrenner became more concerned with the proximal processes of development, meaning the enduring and persistent forms of interaction in the immediate environment. His focus shifted from focusing on the environmental influence to the developmental processes individuals experience over time. Development takes place through the process of progressively more complex reciprocal interaction between an active, evolving biopsychological human organism and the persons, objects, and the symbols in its immediate external environment. So, Bronfenbrenner also suggested that in order to understand the effect of these proximal processes on development, we have to focus on the person, context, and developmental outcome as these processes vary and affect people differently.
So next is critical evaluation. The goal of critical evaluation is to show that you can think beyond what you are told. Bronfenbrenner thought that everything in a person's surroundings had an impact on their growth. Bronfenbrenner's model quickly became very appealing and became accepted as a useful framework for psychologists, sociologists, and teachers to study child development. Bronfenbrenner used critical evaluation to develop the theory about the importance of studying children in multiple environments.
Let's proceed to Bronfenbrenner's theory in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot since this theory was introduced in terms of technological developments. However, it could still be said that the exosystem of a child could be expanded to include social media, video gaming, and other modern day interactions within the ecological system. This could suggest that the ecological systems are still valid but will expand over time to include new modern development. Kelly and Coughlin 2019 used constructivist grounded theory analysis to develop a theoretical framework for youth mental health recovery and found that there were many links to Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory and their own more recent theory. Their theory suggested that the components of mental health recovery are embedded in the ecological context of influential relationships, which fits in with Bronfenbrenner's theory that the ecological system of the young person, such as peers, family, and school, all help mental health development.
The ecological system theory has been used to link psychological and educational theory to early educational curriculum and practice. So, at the center of the theory is the developing child, and all that occur within and between the five ecological system are done so to benefit the child in the classroom. So, to strengthen the development between the ecological system and educational practice, according to the theory, teachers and parents should keep good communication with each other and work together to benefit the child. Teachers should also be understanding to the situations their students' families may be experiencing. So, including social and economic factors that are part of the various systems. According to the theory, if parents and teachers have a good relationship, then this should shape the child's development in a positive way. So, likewise, the child must also be active in their learning. They should engage both academically and socially. They must work as a team with their peers and get involved in meaningful learning experiences to enable positive development.
So good day everyone. I am back again. And at this time I'm gonna tackle about the empirical evidence of Yuri Bronfenbrenner's ecological system theory. I've collected some different studies which supports the theory of Yuri Bronfenbrenner. So the first first study is Lippard, L.A. Paru, Rose and Crosby 2017. They conducted a study to test Bronfenbrenner's theory. They investigated the teacher-child relationships through the teacher reports and classroom observations. So the main focus of this study is the teacher-child relationships, which aims the reports of teacher and classroom observations. And they found that these relationships significantly related to the children's academic achievement and classroom behavior, suggesting that these relationships were important for children's development and supports the ecological system theory. So based on these studies, they prove that the teacher and the child relationships play significant role in developing a child, which really supports the Yuri Bronfenbrenner's ecological system theory. Next is Wilson et al. 2002. Found that creating a positive school environment through a school ethos valuing diversity has a positive effect on students' relationship within a school. So, which means that if we should create some positive school environment, then there is a great influence on a child's development, which enables the child to grow more, to develop more. And incorporating this kind of school ethos influences also those within the developing child's ecological system theory. So that was some research or studies that supports the ecological system theory of Yuri Bronfenbrenner. So that would be all, and I thank you.